begin to talk about the police department, we have to consider the historic role that the police play in our society.
The history of St. Louis and the fact of how the Civil War was fought plays a role in the organization of the police, plays a role in how police services are deployed and how they have to respond to issues in the community, given that polarization.
It's been there to enforce the laws and regulations of the state, which up until very recently have been very racist. So we can begin to see now that the policemen begin to see their roles in one community as to serve and protect. And when it gets to the black community, the mentality of the police is to guard and contain.
For the majority white community, the police play a pretty different role. And so I think it's hard for them to understand what all the hullabaloo is over on this side of town.
I'll give an example. I work in what I consider cop land. Majority of the police officers that reside in the city live in this area. It's very difficult for you to police, say, a zero tolerance, to take a zero tolerance when you're dealing with police relatives, friends, and family. So the approach is different.
I can guarantee you that my experience as a white male has been significantly different after a traffic stop than the experience of most African American males. I know that. I've never been asked to be searched. But if you look at the numbers that are being collected in Missouri now, that have been collected around the country, clearly when African Americans are stopped, they are asked more often to be searched. They are searched more often. What's fascinating, though, is that although African Americans are searched more often, they are less likely to have contraband found on them.
Blacks represent 10% of the population. We're almost 50% of all the prison population. We have a little bit almost better than 2 million people locked up and incarcerated, and a disproportion of those are people of color. Are people of color more criminal? Of course not. It's just that they're not able to defend themselves in terms of staying out of the criminal justice process.
Because when you have people ghettoized in a community and they don't have many resources and they don't have many opportunities to get outside of that community, the rest of the people in the community don't really know what's going on there. And because they don't have resources and they don't have money and they don't have power, they can't really fight the type of oppression that they're experiencing. Whereas people like us in the county, and we're white, and we live in a really nice community, and we're not bothered, and people wouldn't bother us anyway because we could probably take them to court. So there's a lack of understanding from knowing from experience what a lot of other people are going through in this community, and it prevents us from understanding that, yeah, the cops might be great to us, and there are lots of good cops, but there are a group of cops who are not good people and are not doing good things, and they're smart enough to know who to take it out on, which is youth, minorities, and people in poverty.
The African American man, the black man, the man of color, is the only man that can leave his home and get in his automobile and be lawful, and license and everything registered, and he can die at the hands of police with no thought. But we'll have a little hearing here and we'll say, just like the case of the one that happened out there recently in Jack in the Box, an assassination. Two black men shot, murdered, no weapons, no drugs. Even if there were drugs, if there was a carload of crack in the back, if there was crack that high, you can't throw enough crack at you to kill you. So no weapons. A total disregard for life and safety. Shooting that much. You're on a major highway A Metro's link station right across the highway, bullets flying. Why? It would not have happened to two white men under any circumstances.
June 12, 2000. 8 DEA agents and 6 county detectives set up a drug sting operation. Their target was 34-year-old Earl Murray.
Somewhere in the middle, someone lost confidence, lost control. You know, there was movement, someone got shaky, a shot was fired, and all hell broke loose, for lack of a better word. One shot was fired. I guess the report of a large gun going off caused the other agent to begin to shoot, and before it was over with, 21 to 23 shots were fired. 12 hitting Earl Murray, 4 or 5 hitting Ronald Beasley, an innocent passenger in the car.
Obviously, something went wrong there. Obviously, there's no doubt in my mind that there were policies that were violated. There was rules that were implemented for the protection of the officer that were not used. I would say to that, it's obvious that the officer were wrong. They're wrong. But was it a criminal act? No, I don't believe it was criminal. I don't believe the officers got in the car and said, I'm gonna go out and shoot a passenger in a vehicle today. I believe what happened, the officer was feared, and one officer fired, another officer fired. And that could happen very easily when an officer fired, the other officer, something happened that he didn't see, and he will fire. And as a result of that, you have people that are struck by bullets that are flying, and all the time they're the individual that the police officer was shooting at. Is that criminal? No. Is it wrong?
It sends the wrong message to say that police cannot intend